Since 2019, we have known about the playable elf race in Hytale, and one of the biggest questions we all have wondered is what other races could we see in Hytale? Well, put your tin hats on and get ready, because today I believe I have found a shocking secret in a new postcard that could change everything. Firstly, let's talk about the RGB Color showcase that they have shown up before. We can see that the bricks on the floor can be painted different colours, and this is, a feature that's been shown numerous amounts of times, but it's really interesting to see what players can do with these tools, because they're really showing that the RGB colour changing is going to be important, and again, for events like Pride Month or whatever, I can imagine servers or players can use this to really kind of spice up their builds. Now, if we look over at the Gaia statue on the left, this is actually the same Gaia statue that we have seen in concept arts. The difference is that the blue orb that she's holding in the concept art is now stone, and she is wearing a pride scarf, which really makes us wonder about events and whether we will see Christmas hats or pumpkin heads, or if we will see holiday based clothing during those time of the year. Now, below the statue we can see a player in red armor. Now, something really special about this player is that if you look closely at his face, he seems to be some sort of grey skinned player, which could be some sort of dark elf. And the reason why I think his skin is grey, and this isn't just the lighting, is because if you look at his arms, we have actually seen this armor before. And in the armor before, we can see that the arms are Caucasian like the player. Now, this player has dark arms. If you look at his elbow, you can see that they're a dark grey just like his face, meaning that the skin color of this character is dark grey. But talking about races, let's dive into the center of the picture where we can see some really unique coloured and shaped people. Firstly, let's talk about this blue lady with green hair. I have heard some people say this could be a new race, but personally I think she's just a blue human with a horn hat. In the past we have figured out that horns are accessories, and if you look at her ears, they are the same shape as the other humans. I believe that the character creator, we will be able to change a character's skin colour to many different colours. Now, giving this a fair chance to be a new race, in the trailer back in 2018, we did see that originally they had preset skins to be selected, and it's very likely that due to time that they have changed how players can choose their skin colour and have allowed more crazy creations such as blue skins, or they just added far more skin colours to choose from. Because obviously if you look at the black girl on the right, she doesn't have a matching skin colour to any in the trailer, and personally I think it's amazing just to see that we have more options for people to make their character exactly how they want them. And at the back we can see 3 elf-like races. I believe that ears will be a huge indicator of whether it's a new race or just accessories. Now, the light blue and purple elf have pointed ears, which is very similar to the original elves that we saw in the 2019 blog post. The biggest difference between them is the eyes. Whereas the original elves have more cat-like eyes, these elves seem to be more normal but have reddish coloured eyes. I personally love this purple elf, and I could really see myself creating a character like this one. I really like it. Now, the white elf human is very mysterious, and I believe they pointed him away from the camera for a good reason. I believe this possibly could be some sort of snow elf, or I've seen people compare them to Ferens and say that they could be some anthropomorphic race. I'm not really sure about that, but I do think there could be different types of elves that have different shaped ears, or maybe I'm wrong and this is some anthropomorphic race. But either way, I do believe that ears are a big indicator of race, and I do think that the reason these elves have different shaped ears could be something exciting to be revealed in the future. Now, let's get into the big reveal. The reason why you're all here is that this green guy in the middle Now, I have heard many people say this is Shrek or an ogre-like race, but personally I think that Hypixel is trying to throw us off scent. With the green skin colour, just like the blue girl, I believe this is just Hypixel showing off the RGB colours and how we can use it on players. Also, that's why below him is the different coloured stone. Now, if we look at his ear, it's a strange shape where it starts smaller at the bottom and gets larger at the top. Also, he has a feature that we haven't seen in any character before, which is the forehead lines and the circled ears. Now, put your tin hats on, because I believe this to be a dwarf. Now, you're probably saying, but Jamble, he doesn't look smaller, so how can he be a dwarf? Now, it's very hard to decide his size based on this image, and he could be smaller and we can't really see it, but even if he isn't, it could have been a decision for balancing. If you look at a game like Skyrim, where the dwarfs are the same size as other elves, but they're called dwarfs because of the lore, we could see something like that. Also, if you Google dwarf ears, you will see that this fellow has the same set of ears as dwarfs, and dwarfs are known for having big ears, big noses, wrinkled foreheads and stubby limbs along with a
great big bushy beard.
Now, I do believe the reason why he is running and why he's in the center of the photo could definitely be a hint that he is special. He could also have a stubbier neck so they look smaller and more hench. That way they could have the same hitbox as normal players but be a little bit smaller to match dwarfs as well. And really, we can't see his neck and we can't see his ears from front facing, meaning that they could hide a lot of this race in this picture just by him running and being at that angle that he is. Now, when it comes to the forehead lines, I have looked at past pics of Hytale players and there is barely any with forehead lines. Actually, there's only one, which is the developer known as Sum. If you go on a Hypixel website, you can see that Sum has forehead lines and he's meant to look like some sort of Viking manly character with braids, so that's probably why he has the lines. But other than that, there are no other character with forehead lines. Now, the forehead lines could definitely be in the dwarf race, and could be a feature that is just staple with the race, because again, you know, dwarfs are meant to look manly and they're kind of squashed and have big noses. That's just how they look. You know, if you look at fantasies such as Lord of the Rings or whatever, they all have those big features and that manly sort of look that they need. Now, we have seen elderly characters also before and they don't have forehead lines. Here's a picture of a couple that look old. They have grey hair or white hair and they're supposed to look old, but they don't have the forehead lines. So either this is forehead lines being shown off as a new feature, or it could be something to do with the race. But I think the big indicator for race here will always be the ears. And I do think that the head placement of this character was on purpose. And if we saw him from the front, maybe his ears could look more like this character here, this dwarf. And I have always been a big supporter of dwarfs. I think that dwarfs in Hytale could definitely work. I would love to see dwarfs in Hytale. And again, you know, I'm willing to go a little bit tin hat conspiracy theory to see or maybe even think of the idea of dwarfs being in Hytale. Well guys, that's my video today, and what do you think? Do you believe this is some sort of new race and possibly a dwarf? Or do you think I need to leave the basement and get some fresh air? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like. I will be streaming the Summer Game Fest on the 10th of June, so make sure you guys join. The link for that will be in the description, and make sure to set a reminder so that you guys know exactly when the stream starts. We could see some really big reveals at Game Fest, and I'm so excited for it, and I hope that all you guys are, so make sure to watch with me. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you, and have a lovely day. Goodbye.
This, my friend, is the home of my cousin Balin, and they call it a mine. A mine!